The most important number in your performance isn't actually your output, it's your recovery debt. And almost nobody is measuring that. So if you give me a couple of minutes, I'm going to walk you through how to calculate that. I'll show you the 3 most important inputs that will tell you exactly how far behind your system is and how much space you've got before you end up hitting the fade again. And if you would like access to my digital capacity assessment so that you can calculate all of this yourself with ease within about 10 minutes is all it takes, drop the word assess in the comments and I will send you that link over straight away. So if you've been following me for a little while, you should know that I am Celeste. I'm the founder of Project Tempest and I work with high-performing women to build nervous system infrastructure that helps them govern their capacity so that they can stay in the fire and avoid the fade. My goal with all of these videos is to give you something useful that you can implement. And that's what we're going to do here. So you're probably measuring the wrong thing now. You're always going to be looking at your output. That's natural for a high-performing woman. You measure yourself by what you can get done. How did you make it through the week? What was your productivity like? Those are all indicators. They'll tell you what happened after your capacity has been spent. By the time your output starts to drop and you start slipping back towards the fade, you've actually been gradually eroding for weeks. And because you've been measuring the wrong thing, you're not aware of that. So what we need is a leading indicator. You need a number that's going to tell you where your capacity is heading before you actually hit the collapse. So you're probably tracking external performance measurements at the moment. You know, you're probably tracking numbers within your job, within your business. Maybe you're even tracking your nutrition numbers. Maybe you're tracking your work numbers. All of these different things. But none of them will measure the state of your nervous system that's actually responsible for all this productivity that you're chasing. It's like measuring a car's mileage without actually looking at the fuel gauge. Like, you can know how far you've gone, but you don't know how far you can still go because you're only looking at one set of indicators. Performance metrics like those can look really stable and they can look good for weeks on end, but the underlying system can actually be declining. And women like you, women who are wired like you, are exceptional at compensating. It's why you get so much done. It's why you're a high performer. You're good at maintaining appearances of output whilst your resource base is depleting quietly in the background. The metrics will probably stay in the green, things will look good, but your internal systems are going into the red. And by the time those external numbers have shifted, you're going to need a bigger intervention. So we need to look at this with a different scoring system, one that actually measures your resources, not just your results. So here's how we can do this. Simple 3-step recovery debt calculation. So step 1, we need the activation ratio. So look across the last 7 days and estimate the ratio of high activation hours versus genuine recovery hours. So how much high activation stuff have you done? So that means working, caregiving, commuting, performing socially, looking after people, whatever it may be. Any situation that you're in that requires you to produce and present in some way. Genuine recovery, on the other hand, will be how much sleep did you get? How much movement did you do that will help with recovery? Any time where you found your nervous system genuinely offline. If the number of activation hours significantly exceeds the number of recovery hours, ratio probably of 3-to-1, then you're going to start accumulating a debt. So that's the first thing to track. Second thing to check is the debt age. So how many consecutive weeks has the ratio been unfavourable? So 1 week of imbalance, that's manageable, you can do that. 4 weeks starts to become significant. 12 weeks means your system is just running on reserves and it's almost exhausted. And the longer that debt accumulates, the more targeted the intervention needs to be. And the same protocol that will help resolve a 2-week debt is not going to touch a 12-week debt. So we need to look at that. How long has this been going on for? And then the third thing we need to look at is your response threshold. So what level of load is currently producing a disproportionate response? So irritability, withdrawing, struggling to make decisions, sleep disruptions. The lower that threshold is, the higher the debt will be. So the things that you can normally absorb easily and get on with that are now actually producing a significant reaction shows that your buffer zone is close to zero. Something that wouldn't normally bother you, if it's now bothering you, then we know we've got a problem. Those 3 inputs together, they will give you your recovery debt. That's your number. That's the scoreboard that tells you whether you are moving away from the fire or towards it. And this works because it helps you measure something that otherwise is very much up in the air. And if we can measure it, then we can govern it. Right now, you're governing your output based on your output capacity. Okay? If we can switch the scoreboard, then we can change things around. It doesn't mean doing less or working less. It just means operating with an accurate picture of your system's actual state. If you have a debt calculation that tells you you need an acute intervention, not a gradual rebuild, then we can do that with ground zero. If you go through these numbers and you think, I'm in trouble, I need some help here, then ground zero is your opportunity to do that. It's 100% free, it's 48 hours, you'll get an assessment, you'll get the plans, you'll run it, and it will help. Or you can just run your own capacity assessment and see what kind of recovery debt you are accumulating right now and get a deeper understanding of your own system and then go from there. So if you want access to that, drop assess in the comments and I'll send you a link. Or if you want to get all of this sorted and you want to start chipping away at that debt number, then you can get into ground zero. Just comment 0 and I'll send you the link, or you can find the link in my bio. It will tell you exactly where you're at. It will build you your next step plan based on how much time you've got, what resources you've got available, and then you can run the plan and it will help you recalibrate your nervous system and get you moving back towards the fire. So if you want either of those, let me know in the comments.